Welcome back to the channel. I hope you enjoyed that little intro. I know that's a little bit different than what I usually do to start videos, so thought it might be fun to do something like that. And the music that you heard was actually me playing over that little view of the flowers that you saw. I hope that you are enjoying your day wherever you are, wherever you're watching this video, and then whatever time you're watching this video at. Maybe it's the morning time where you're at, could be the evening time, middle of the day. I'm not sure, but I just had this thought. What if I just kind of took you along to show you a few things that I do during the day? And we've done a lot of videos like this before, of course, day in the life. But you know something, every day looks so different for me. I literally do something totally different every single day. I am in a lot of ways a creature of habit, and in a lot of other ways I'm a creature of spontaneity. I'm very spontaneous, slightly impulsive. I do different things every day. I don't have exactly a set schedule. Now there is some stuff like this is when Ira takes a nap, this is the morning routine, this is the nighttime routine, but everything in between is sometimes totally different, a total mix-up. Got this handy dandy baby monitor, and I thought that it might be fun to just film another one of those videos. Hey, I know you've seen 100 day in the life videos, but this one won't look anything like the other ones, so let's go do something with this day. One thing I did this morning that I don't always do, shame on me, is I started out by reading a little bit of my Bible and my devotionals. Sometimes I'm good about doing that first thing in the morning. Sometimes it looks more like reading the Bible app on my phone at night when Ira's asleep. I want to try to get into the Word as much as I possibly can, but I'll admit sometimes it's tricky having a baby and just having a baby that never sleeps. He's asleep right now, but I'm like, who knows how long he'll be asleep. And it's always tempting to run and do other stuff. You know, hey, I got to make this jewelry order, or I got to make breakfast, or XYZ on the list of things I need to do. And I'm tempted to do those things first. And sometimes I do. And I'm like, well, I should really make time for God, and that should come first. And if I have time to do those other things, that's great. But I should do this. I have several different devotionals. I've done a video on these before. I can put that in the description below, the link to that video. So sometimes I just grab one or two or three of the devotionals that I have, and no specific order, no specific reason. I just grab a few things to read. Sometimes I read the devotionals first. Sometimes I read the Bible first. It just depends. This is a Bible that Granny bought for me and gave me at Easter 2022, and she crocheted this Bible cover, and so I just thought that was so sweet. So I was reading in Titus actually this morning, and I've just kind of been back here in the New Testament lately, reading about really reading some of Paul's stuff, so a lot of Paul's letters. And Titus here, this is a really good letter for kind of guidelines you can see there for Christian living. He gives us a really good outline for the way we are to conduct ourselves as Christians. And so I was just reading here a few things in Titus. I had been reading in, let me see if I can get this turned, in Hebrews. And then after I got done doing that, I come back and started reading some in James too. And so I guess I was just thinking about Paul, right? The Apostle Paul. And so then I started reading my devotional. So I read this one, which was a really good one for today. And then I read this one. This is old. You can see, man, I've had this for years, and it's pretty wore out. And then I read this one. So both of these devotionals, the other two that I showed you, aren't done by date. So they just have different devotions. You could probably thumb through, read one whenever you want to. But this one is meant for, it has a date for each day. So I'll flip to today's and read it to you or show it to you. Build upon the foundation of the apostles and prophets, Jesus Christ being the chief cornerstone, Ephesians 2:20. So right there I'm thinking, oh, Ephesians, this is going to be about Paul. And the first thing says, the Apostle Paul had a statesman-like program. So it goes on to talk about some different stuff here. And of course, you can read this if you want. I'm going to stay on it long enough in this video where you could probably read it, or you could definitely pause the screen and read it. But down at the very end, it talks about what I wanted to talk about. It says, from a prison house, Paul spoke of God's supreme purpose to bless, to give his children a character pure, holy, loving, a citizenship without unneighborliness, a church that is missionary, and the Christ, sacrificial and supreme. And so before that, it talks about God having his own strategy and his own plan, because Paul was a prisoner here. And so he was set out, once he become converted, right, and decided that he was going to do the work of God, he set out to do that. And he was going to go all the way to Rome, and even past Rome, to anywhere he could to spread the word of God. And he ended up being a prisoner. So the part that says, for God has his own strategy too, here the apostle wrote those great epistles, he was kept from winning the empire, but he was used by God to win the world. So that got me thinking this morning, oh my goodness, that is huge. So we think about the apostle Paul and all the good that he did, and then we think, but he was imprisoned and he could have done much more, look at all the places he could have went and spoke about the word of God and witnessed and all of that, but he was taken prisoner. Wrong, because that little devotional there really pointed it out. He may have been taken prisoner, but because he was sitting in prison, he wrote those letters. And had he not been in prison, he wouldn't have wrote the letters, and none of us would have those. So he may have been kept from saving the empire, but he was meant to save the world. The empire was kept from him so that he could thus reach something greater, bigger, and more meaningful in God's plan, for God's glory. So Paul died without ever knowing how far he reached. He's reached the entire world. Here he's reaching me. Here he reaches Katie in Brasstown thousands of years later, and you, wherever you're at, thousands of years later when you read Paul's letters. And it was just like this, like, oh my gosh, I never thought about that. For God's plan, of course, poor Paul had to suffer, and it was terrible. But the Bible talks about suffering for God's sake, for the glory of God. And there he was in prison, and his work was stopped, but it wasn't really stopped. It was so that he could reach the entire world by sitting there in jail and saying, well, this is a really bad place to be, and this is not good, but I'm still going to be obedient to God. I'm still going to do the work of the Lord, and I'm still going to spread the good news. Sometimes things don't go the way we think they will. Sometimes unexpected things happen. Our life takes a turn, and we're like, whoa, I didn't mean for that to happen. I didn't mean to do that. What is this about? But it's all part of God's plan. And anytime we do something to change that, which we can never change God's plan, it's so much bigger than us. But anytime we go off of our course, off of our plan, something different than what we foresaw, as long as we go back to God, as long as we believe in God, as long as we're followers of Christ, it doesn't matter, because he's going to use whatever happens in our life and whatever we do, so long as we'll give it to him, to not only bless us, which is something we don't deserve, but for his glory, to glorify him, more importantly. So here's Paul. He was bummed sitting in prison. He had to be bummed out when he got captured and thought, well, crap, who would want to be in prison? But because he was obedient to God and said, well, it's still my mission to spread the word of God, and I'm not going to stop, and I'm going to sit here in my cell and continue the good work of our Lord and Savior, look at what was accomplished. It made me think about what I should be doing in my life and how I should be conducting myself. And it was great motivation, and it was a great kind of food for thought moment to say, oh, if Paul could stay the course and obey God in prison, and because of his obedience, he changed not just a single empire, but the entire world, what could I do by being obedient to God and doing what he would have of me, and whatever I feel like he's placed upon my spirit and my heart, I should do those things, even if I don't want to, even if it's hard, even if I'm scared. I should challenge myself to be radically obedient, because not only will it be easier for me when I'm in God's plan and where he wants me to be, but it'll bless and glorify him, and that's got to be the most important thing. I may go downstairs real quick, see the cat, and look at my bench for a second. I'll probably do that. And I want to go see Granny later, possibly see Cory, and maybe even go down to the creek. That's very ambitious, but I'm going to see if I can complete those things. Oh, do the big stretches. Hey, Binky. Oh, Binks is doing great. Somewhere on his little paw here, you can see he's got a little bald spot, where he got bit by that snake, but he is doing great. He loves to hang out in the basement with me when I'm down here working. Oh, yeah, you say hey to the viewers. Say hey. Did you take the toy? Binks is very playful. He loves to play. Don't he? You like to play, don't you? You got that toy? You got that toy? You gonna chew my foot? Even if he's not inside at the time, he will come under that door just to come hang out and see me, which I think is sweet. Gotta love my little cat. Binks, we're coming up on a year that he has been with us. So by this time last year, I had already found him. I had already seen him, and I started trying to coax him into the basement. And I hadn't got him fully in here yet, but I was feeding him and watching him outside and trying to take care of him. The first night that he spent the night in the basement was the night before Thanksgiving. I had let him in during the day and he would play and all of that, and then I would make him go back outside at night before I felt like I could get him trained to use a litter box. And now we have a litter box down here. We're coming up on our year anniversary of Binky, I would say, being in my care, being my pet, because I kind of just nabbed him. You know, kind of just saw him outside, decided I loved him, wanted to keep him, and here we are. The rest is history. What do you think? Yeah? That's why I don't get any work done, because he commandeers the bench, don't you? Oh, he's got the look. He's got the look. That's the I may scratch you or bite you look. It's all in good play, right? Right? It's all in fun, isn't it? Y'all, this is what my bench currently looks like, and it is a mess. Oh my gosh, it's not usually this messy, but it's crazy right now. Something I'm very excited about is I got some of these little Halloween stones. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited about that. I just bought some stones that are have already been cut, and so they're shaped and carved like pumpkins. I didn't even know people did this, but I found these and thought, oh my goodness, I have to have some of these for Halloween, because I do the pumpkin necklaces, you know, like I just saw out, like that's how the pumpkin necklaces start. And then I didn't know that I could even just buy a stone itself in the shape of a pumpkin. That one's got a face in it. So a lot of these are sunstone. That's why they're really sparkly. And then this is kind of different. This is like super Halloween-y, a little skull. These are just crazy. I don't know what I think about this. It's fun, I guess. For Halloween, just something different. Also, I was playing with some new stamps that I got. I got some hearts. And I got some pumpkins, so I'm going to make some earrings out of these little pumpkins. And I got, for Christmas, Santa Claus. So sometimes when I get a new stamp, I have to work with it a while to figure out how I need to best hit it with a hammer to get it to stamp. So you can see that one kind of didn't do that well. But by the 4th time here, I got a good impression there of Santa. I was going to work on this, need to work on that for a customer. You'll probably see this video. You know who you are, and I am working away on it. I got a little owl here, too. I love owls. I've not done anything, you know, with an owl in a while, and a feather. These are tiny little bitty bats for Halloween. And just another funky stone. This is actually mother of pearl. You can see that. It's been glued to the back of this piece of quartz. So they call that a doublet. So it's got like this insane. Look at that. Isn't that crazy? I just like all this different kind of funky stuff. One more thing. These labradorites, man. They are so shiny. I guess I have a flair for shiny things. Yeah, that'll be cool. Could do something like, make something out of that for Halloween. I just need to work on forming the bezel for this stone here. Oop. Hold what I've got here and maybe just use this clothespin to push in these areas. It's tricky to make a bezel for this shape. Pinched in. I guess I'll pinch the other end. Alright, so that goes back on there pretty good. This will be a chance to kind of work on the shape of it. Okay, so now we just got to make sure this thing is flat this way, and it's not. Try to make it flat. Okay, I got the bezel how I want it. Do a little sanding on it now to make sure that it goes down flat to the back plate. Stinky Binky cat. Alright, that's cooled off. Now I just gotta trim the extra away from the sides. All I gotta do now is put this into the pickling solution, decide if I want to liver a sulfate or not, make it a chain and tumble it, and then I will set this stone in it. Alright, I gotta work on this setting here. I went ahead and while I had the liver of sulfur hot, did a few other things. Worked on this pumpkin some. It didn't exactly turn out how I wanted, but at the very end, when I was about ready to set the stone, I accidentally chipped off part of the setting. Oops. So I had to rework it. So it's not exactly what I want. I mean, it's fine, there's nothing wrong with it, but I'm just a perfectionist and wanted it to be a certain way, and it's not that way. So alright, so there it is. I gotta pop this thing in the tumbler, and when it gets out, I will set the stone. My goodness, you're such a pretty cat. I know I've said this before, but we're talking about Halloween. Binks is purely Halloween inspired from that little kids movie Hocus Pocus. And in the movie, there's a black cat named Binks, Zachary Binks, which is actually a person trapped in the cat in the movie. And anyway, that is Binks's name. That's his inspiration. That's the kind of where I got inspired to name him Binks, because he looks just like the cat. Same eyes, jet black. But he's pretty wild. Binks has definitely got his own... You got your own thing going, your own ideas, don't you? Yeah. Should you have your own channel? Should you have your own channel, Binks? Where you could just do Binky things? We could call it Binky and Friends. You have your own channel, Binky and Friends, where you just do crazy stuff all day? Yeah. Mom is going to the post office, so I thought I would package up a few orders to send out. I cannot thank you guys enough for supporting me and supporting this business. It's amazing that I get to do what I love, but it's amazing that I'm able to work from home, because I just wouldn't be able to do anything without y'all's love, your support, your prayers, everything. It means so much to me, so that I'm able to make this sweet little living for me and Ira, and be able to enjoy living here with my family and still getting to work, but also give him all the attention and all the time that he deserves, and that I want to. I don't want to miss 1 minute. I don't want to blink, because it'll be over too quick, and he'll be grown or bigger than he already is, which made me sad. But got to send these off to the post office and then go on to the next thing. Sometimes I'm really good about making a to-do list, things that I need to do, want to do, deadlines. Other times I'm not good at it at all, honestly. And then sometimes I actually lose my to-do list, so then it's like back to square one. We are going to make an Azure standard order because someone in my community has figured out how to coordinate a drop-off and be able to do that. So very excited. I've known about these people for a long time and haven't been able to ever figure out a pickup location, and you had to have enough people order. So she's done that for us, so I have to finalize that. I also maybe possibly need to order more diapers because I may be running low on those. Also got a few more packages that I didn't get done for this post office run that I need to do, and probably a few other things. I have to sit here and think of them. Also have a few emails I need to answer if you're waiting on an email from me. Can't forget Saturday's birthday party. Me and Ira are going to go to a very special birthday party of a sweet little boy here in my community. I can't forget that. I'm mostly writing that down so I can remember to actually get there. I'm going to warm this up for lunch and toast me a little bread to go with it. And then once I get it all made and plated, I'll tell you what it is. So, what I showed you in there that I heated up, this is some meat. And then I've got this meat between these two pieces of bread as a sandwich. I really like meat. I could just eat meat probably. Got my baby monitor here I'm looking at. This is what we call dough burger, so it's deer meat and beef fat that's been added back to it. A little bit of onions and a little bit of peppers, just kind of cooked down for a little bit. I think Dad said he cooked this in chicken stock. It's really good. It's got a fantastic flavor. It's really fatty because of the beef fat. I think there's some butter in it too. You can literally taste the fat. It's delicious. Good, pure, clean, unprocessed animal fat is very good for you. It's not bad. Animal fats have a lot of fat-soluble vitamins such as vitamin A, vitamin D, vitamin K even. All very nourishing. And since I'm nursing Ira, I want to have as good of a diet as I can possibly have so that by proxy, he is also eating not only delicious food, but being very well nourished. So, clean animal fat is where it's at. So the bread that I'm eating, this is the bread that I've been making in the bread machine with the flour that I've been grinding. So this is just Miss Cindy's recipe with the wheat berries that I take and make flour out of, and then add it in with all the other ingredients for her recipe. This is the mill that I grind the flour that I used to make the bread with. So you put your wheat berries in there, and the flour's ground, and it comes out through that little funnel into the catch basin. When you're ready to get it, you just take the lid off to access the flour there. And then I've got the wheat berries that I'm using right there in that jar, and those are actually hard white wheat berries. I will say this thing's really loud, so. I separated this. I'm going to pop this lid off. It's kind of hard to get off. I'm not sure if I can do that on camera with one hand. And then we'll look at the flour in there. So there's the flour. Oh, it's beautiful. And that may be enough right there. I might need more, I may not. And if I do have some left, I will save it. And I will use it the next time because it'll probably only be just a little handful. And even though I like to meal it fresh, I don't want to waste it. So I'll put it in a bag, label it, date it, and then try to find something else to do with it. Okay, so that was the rest of what I needed for the half. And now I just got to put in the rest of the ingredients. All right, it's a little bit later now, and my bread should be done somewhat soon, I'm hoping. Maybe, I don't know if it'll be done soon enough to eat with supper or not. It might be. I'm actually going to drive down to Granny's real quick and take her what's in this bag. This is some sausage that I bought for her down at the farm store that we go to, and it's actually pretty good, so she'll be really excited that I got it for her. And I just wanted to take her something like a little present. And I'm thinking now there's 2 more things that I said I was going to take to her. I should go in the house and get them and take them to her on this trip. And then I may go down real quick and see Cory, or at least go see what the creek looks like, just for a minute, just a fun break, something to break the day up. Grandma was babysitting, so I got just a second to do these things. And I thought I should take this sausage because Granny may want to cook it in the morning for breakfast. So, all right, bye. I love you. All right. I've done a lot of stuff today. Granny was really excited about her sausage. I'm down here in Cory's backyard. I don't even think she knows I'm here. And I'm going to see the creek. I know it's going to be really low. Right now, it's just barely trickling. Ooh, there's a spider right there. I don't want to go through the spider web. Grody. Commody. Okay, let's see. What do we got in here? I bet you somewhere there's a salamander. There used to be like a really big salamander that lived under a rock over there. Stayed there for a long time. It's very clear today. It usually is though. It'd be cool to just kind of sit on the shelf like that little rock. And that's a pretty rock too. Maybe I will take this home and see if I could cut it and make something out of it. Here's the edge of a rock I wanted to investigate. It's interesting. This kind of counts as a heart rock, right? I don't know. Alright guys, I should probably wrap this little creek trip up. Can definitely see it's just moving hardly at all. But it'll start again. It sure will. I always enjoy visiting the creek. It's just a really nice thing to be able to do. It's so close that I could just come down here and take a look at it. Like I said, I hate that it's so low, but I remind myself it's kind of just how it goes, and I'm not responsible for, you know, the height and the depth of the creek. It just is God's thing, and it's nature, and it does its own thing, and it's okay. So I'm gonna take me and my rock up here, knock on Cory's door, say hello. And yeah, I'm not sure what these flowers are. I'm sure Cory can tell me, but they really are beautiful. Very sweet. Hi. Hey. Hi. So I said that I would ask Cory what those flowers are called, those red ones.
Begonias.
Begonias?
They've really taken off.
They have. Is there different colors of them? Like, can you get them in more than one?
I think so.
That's awesome.
It's pretty messy out here. I need to do some work, but...
No, it looks fine. I just come by to say hello. I actually came and got this rock, Cory. I'm going to try to maybe do something with it. Let me see. I don't know. We'll see. It was kind of dark and shadowy in the creek when I picked it up, so upon closer inspection in the daylight, I might say, oh, it's not as good, but
I think it's pretty. I hear music.
Yeah, Dad's playing the old jams on the porch while he's cooking our steak. That's what we're having.
We got leftovers. I've got some beef roast, I got potatoes that I just dug over here in the oven. We got green beans that I guess we canned like 2 years ago. and then got some bread, and then I robbed a jar of sauerkraut from Mom.
Oh, that
So
sounds
that should be
good.
pretty good.
That would be good. Oh, I'm moving the camera. You got anything for dessert?
There is actually some peach cobbler left. We need to finish it off
You
or
should eat
get
that.
rid of it.
I want to make these cookies that I saw. This recipe for these cookies. They've
What
got
kind of cookies? I love cookies.
I think they have peanut butter and molasses
Ooh, that'd be good.
and flour. There's not much to them, but they sounded good.
That would be really good. I think I hear Ira on the porch with Grandma.
I can hear
I can hear her talking, and I think she's talking to Ira.
I mean,
And Woody had been hanging out. He ate, and I just gave him a bath and for supper, and
it's good.
so I just been hanging out, and I got laundry to fold, and I really like doing stuff around the house.
I made some bread, and made more
That's
bread in the
nice.
bread machine and that kind of thing. And I need to do some other stuff probably. I was working on a to-do list. I need to put some more stuff on there. I have to keep a running list, because then when I sit down to put it all on there, I can't think of it. So I just got to keep coming by it to...
I have a list. I just realized that I'm looking right here, like not even in the camera, because you're left-handed, so you're holding this phone backwards. I hold
Yeah.
mine the other way, and I'm like, the camera's right there.
That's okay.
Cory, so
Sometimes
you're
I
gonna watch
still
this
look over
footage
there.
back
I'm like,
and
I'm still
I'm
looking.
like, just looking into the wrong part
That's
of the
okay.
camera here.
Well, all right, I guess I won't bug you no more longer. I just wanted to say hey to
You're
you.
not bugging me. This is nice.
Come down. Sometimes I do
Glad you
that.
stopped by.
Just have to come by real quick and say hey to Cory
Yeah.
if I'm doing something. I was just thinking when I come out here how funny I spent all my life just tiptoeing around out here, wondering if Kim and Steve saw me out the windows taking rocks, and now...
I'm about to fall standing here because I'm off bounds.
Oh, that's okay. And now I'm like, my sister lives here.
I know, ain't it crazy?
That's been a
Peacing
fun
out.
installment of this part of the video, but I gotta go.
Alright, I gotta go check my potatoes, and Woody's asleep.
That's good. Well, all right then. I'll take me and my rock. I don't know. Under closer inspection out here in the sunlight, I'm like, this thing's gonna fall all to pieces, but we're still gonna try
It's
it.
nice though.
All right then. I'll see you later.
Okay, bye.
Bye. All right. Okay, I just got back home and it's supper time here, so I'm gonna go ahead and get my plate ready, eat some supper. Yeah, and then we might just be ending this video. One thing I guess I have left to do is get that setting out of the tumbler that I put in there and finish that necklace, and then I guess we're gonna be ending this video. Okay, so the initial bezel is set. I'm going to go around through here with one of my wheels to clean it up a little bit, give it a final polish, and then it's done. Well, that's about going to do it, guys. As you can see, it is dark outside. A lot of the times that's what my days look like. Ira is very playful, very energetic. He doesn't sleep a whole lot. I know I've said that before, but it's true. So I have to usually wait until he goes to bed to finish things up or be able to work some. And excited about this necklace. That's kind of out of the, I don't know, out of the normal of what I usually do. Not really a skull and crossbones kind of person, but I thought that might be fun for Halloween. It might just be something different. And I wanted to take on the challenge of setting that stone and making that bezel because it was kind of tricky. So I guess that's it. So God bless you, God keep you, and we will certainly catch you at the next one. Want to tell them good night, Binks? Say good night. Tell everybody good night. Well, it's good night where we are. Tell everybody else good day, good afternoon. Tell them. Say we'll catch you at the next one. So I did end up cutting that rock from the creek that I got, and this is what it ended up looking like. So a lot of what I find in the creek has kind of the same look, and sometimes what I would say like the same problem. So the surface of this rock is not uniform, and so these cracks, you actually really can't feel any of them with your fingernail. Like, they're smooth. Also, I'm sorry, my hands look terrible and I hammered the crap out of my finger by accident. Oops. But the surface of this is not always uniform because of the cracks and the fractures that creates tiny little pockets upon the surface. Therefore, it doesn't take as good of a polish as something that had a more uniform structure. if the atoms in this little rock, I guess you would say, if the crystalline structure was finer and tighter, it would take a better polish and it wouldn't be fractury, but that's just the type of rock that's down there. So what you do with this is you stabilize it. So you could probably take and heat this and pour epoxy over it. That'd be one process, to pull the epoxy into those fissures and cracks. And then take it back to the machine and work it, and then you would have more of a uniform surface. But it's cool to see what it ends up looking like nonetheless. It's kind of got a cool blue, maybe somewhat transparent, but anyway, I thought I'd just show you that that's what it ended up looking like. You could make a little necklace out of it or something.